The Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be led by superintendents, members of our state legislative delegation, City Clerk Stock, Judge of Probate Strike Kafalis, Superintendent of Schools Feeser, elected officials from the Board of Aldermen, the Board of Education, and the Planning and Zoning Board, all of the heads of our departments and all of our employees that are here today, veterans, patriotic and civic organizations, men and women of churches of faith that are here tonight, and my fellow citizens of America. Welcome. Welcome on this beautiful night, in this beautiful setting, overlooking City Hall and the Wappawag River, this tranquil place, the place where we placed our 9/11 memorial. Before I just have some very brief opening remarks, I'd just like to point out the Milford truly does remember. Not only do we have this beautiful monument here that took several years to plan and to get people to donate to, and a very dedicated committee led by Joe Della Monica Jr. worked on this beautiful memorial, and I think it came out just beautiful. Please take some time, if you haven't before, to take a look at the three sides that represent New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. There's such deep meaning in the words that we'll hear that are inscripted there tonight. But also, Milford remembers in other ways. You may not know that we have a memorial garden at Live Oaks Elementary School. Two of the men who had ties to Milford, who died in the World Trade Center that day, Mike Miller and Avnish Patel, were students at Live Oak School. And shortly after the terrible attacks, a group of people got together and decided that there should be a memorial garden. And it's a beautiful garden. So at some point, take some time and go up there and reflect. It's a beautiful, beautiful garden at Live Oak School. And also, we also remember those heroic men and women of Flight 93. On the banks of the Housatonic River, the city of Milford purchased a piece of open space a little more than a decade ago. And it's flat land. It used to be farmland, and it resembles very much the field in Pennsylvania where Flight 93 went down. And so citizens and the Board of Aldermen designated that as Flight 93 Heroes Park. And so certainly we here in Milford remember the events of that tragic day. We remember how it changed our lives, our daily lives, in such a significant way. We remember all those who lost their lives, including the three men, as I said, Mike Miller, Avnish Patel, and also Seth Morris. We remember all of the men and women of the military who, in the aftermath of September 11th, were called to duty, called to protect our homeland, and called to protect and fight the war on terror. We especially remember our own Corporal Jordan Pearson, who lost his life in Iraq. And I think we can say that that was as a result of the events of September 11th. And so we, as citizens of Milford, come together this evening as citizens throughout the entire United States are doing, to remember, to reflect, and also to resolve that the events on that day aren't going to change the fabric, the culture, the deep soul of America. It's been 10 years. There's been progress. There's been some setbacks. But all in all, America moves on with a new resolve to, we are the greatest country on earth because of the men and women, past, present, and future, because of the service that they've given to our country, and no matter what that role was, whether it was in the military or whether it was first responders or just everyday, ordinary citizens who go to work, as those citizens did on September 11th, go to work each day and do the best that they can to uphold the American dreams and uphold the lifestyle that we have in America for our families and for us as individuals. And so You know, we all have our stories of where we were on September 11th. We all think back. And the one thing that I remember so distinctly, and I know you do too, is how that day brought us together. It really didn't matter what nationality we were. It didn't matter what religion we were. It didn't matter what school we went to or what part of the country we were from. We were Americans. We flew our flags. We helped one another, whether it was at Ground Zero or at the Pentagon, or whether it was just here in our community, having drives, blood drives, or food drives, or whatever it was in the name of that day. But we did what we do best as Americans. We come together, we came together, and if there's anything that we can take from that day, it's, again, our resolve to come together as Americans and to remember the way that it was those days and weeks and months after, and try to resolve to do better, to come together as Americans, not looking at what divides us, but looking at what brings us all together, what makes us one great country. And so I thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, all of the participants, all of the organizers of tonight's event. I say thank you to you. It is so fitting. We stand here at the monument, but we also have a piece of the World Trade Center that was brought back here by our fire department. And in addition, the three flags that are around the monument, they have special significance also. The American flag in the middle was a flag that was flown at Flight 93 National Memorial over the final resting place of the passengers of that flight. The flag of honor on the left-hand side was flown over New York City during the 7th anniversary of the attacks, and it contains the names of all those who perished in the World Trade Center and in Flight 93 and on the Pentagon. All of the victims of September 11th are inscribed in that flag, the flag of honor. And on the right side is the flag of heroes, which also was flown over New York City, and it contains the names of all of the emergency service personnel who perished on that day. And so lots of significance here. And I think that the program that we have tonight is simple. It's one of prayer. It's one of song. It's one of remembrance. And most of all, it's one of hope. And so again, thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. And at this time, the Milford Volunteer Ancient Fife and Drum Corps will play the Battle Hymn of the Republic.